Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and other viewers. Welcome to the show. That's for in case someone decide to self-identify as a squirrel. I don't want to leave them out.
Hello and good night.
Right on, right on. So what's going on in the world? Anything exciting happening out there in Ohio and Nevada?
Arizona.
I'll let Nevada or Arizona or wherever the hell he is go first.
I changed my name.
Right.
All right.
I changed my name. I'm going to take my sales to 100 grand on eBay without doing anything.
You sound like one of those get-rich-quick guys on YouTube.
So the audience, it's too early in the show for y'all to be too confused. Yes, this is the same person who was quitting eBay and said screw eBay 2 weeks ago. So don't be confused.
eBay's pretty interesting. I mean, listen, when I made that statement, I hadn't looked at eBay in 2 years. I went in and went, where's my listing? Because they got ads above it, they got ads below it. But if you know what you're doing, it looks like you can put up a lot of you can cover a lot of real estate in the listing with your product, right, and increase your sales. But you have to be smart about it, and you have to understand the algorithm behind it.
Ohio's cold, if you wondered. I mean, he asked.
So if you're having if this morning, if we find you kind of melancholy and sad and you need cheering up, I suggest after this wonderful show we're about to do for you guys, you watch the video from last night. It'll put a smile on your face. That was straight up one take, go through it, bearded pick. Well, actually, I lied. It's 2 takes. The first take, you can see it break because the battery died. But then once I put the battery back in, it's a one-shot roll through a bunch of returns.
Maybe you should share your screen and we could watch it right now, and then we don't
only you
go this morning.
Well, see, then he doesn't get the ad revenue off of it if he does that. But only you could make women's underwear entertaining. That's all I.
Yes, tacticals. I did recover. I thought I had destroyed all my nasal passages, but it's amazing the resilience of the human body. It's just amazing.
Yeah, we're going to have sunshine here, Marcia. Look, it's supposed to be a little chilly. It's supposed to be like 64, 65 today.
Larry,
that'd be perfect for her.
I'm glad you noticed, Larry, because I'm so disappointed that nobody else mentioned that but you, Larry. I worked hard on that. Damn it! Did you catch that, Steve? The intro.
It was interesting. Yes.
My foray into
your voice changed quite a bit. I'm just
me and GPT trying to write a song in the style of Waylon Jennings.
It wasn't bad. The voice just wasn't quite.
You can't. So a weakness of Chat GPT is there's nowhere on there that has a singing voice. So
where are you getting the voice? You're not getting it from Chat GPT. You're getting it from
that voice. It came from Chat Clip Chat.
Oh, okay. Yeah, they're pretty weak over there. There are some good ones out there, but I hesitate to give up that information.
So I had Joni take the. Joni gets home from volunteering and she's not feeling great. She's already in bed. I'm like, I need you to come take the picture for the thumbnail. And after I got grumpy out of bed, I tried to lay there with all the boxes on me. The dogs were having none of that. So they were circling me like a little shark. So that's why in the thumbnail, Phoebe's there, because Phoebe's like, why is he laid on the ground? Why is he at our level? It's I think Joni took like 7 pictures. Only one of them didn't have a dog in it.
But listen, what would be better is the video of you getting your ass up off of that floor.
True,
yeah, with ropes and freaking walkers and
Yeah, I was like, you know what? This is uncomfortable right here.
This camera's good. I could make an advertisement with this camera. Look how nice that color is.
I'm going to use a box for my head so I can be comfortable down here while I lay here.
What'd you say, John?
What are you trying to sell the mug now?
No, I mean, if somebody wants to buy it.
On the videos.
It's got my DNA on it.
Let's see. I cracked up.
I mean, so if somebody really wants to buy it, I suppose I would sell it, but.
Yeah, so now I've got to go out there this morning first thing before I do anything and clean up all that damn boxes I threw all over the ground because I had like 6 minutes to get the picture taken, make a thumbnail, and run the wing night.
I agree with you, Lag. It is this camera's a little too good. It's just my iPhone.
Yeah, so that one was So here's an interesting thing I learned. I don't know if you've seen this, Steve, or not. I'm kind of trying to get more into the affiliate side of the world. And did you know that Amazon is now going to compete in the short section? It's called Amazon Inspire. It's rolling out slowly to everyone. And so basically, you still got to get through the influencer program. So you've still got to have an audience before they'll approve you to make videos. But they're going to make it where it's called Inspire. It's going to be on your phone in the app, and you're going to, so like I can make a list. So say I made a list of the best Valentine's gifts for men, and say I picked out 4 items. So if you do that on TikTok, there's a weakness with TikTok. TikTok requires, for TikTok, you would have to get them to hit a link, maybe a link tree, because you couldn't put 4 links in the thing because they don't allow direct links. And so you're at the mercy of somebody following the steps that you've got to tell them. Same thing with a video, please go to the description and hit it. Amazon is different. Amazon's little thing, if you see products, they're going to have the links built in. So on your phone, you're watching me tell you what the 4 best ideas are. If you want one of the 4, there'll be 4 little buttons. You can click it, and it directly takes you to the Buy It Now page. So it's going to be a little different. I'm waiting for it to show up in my phone. You have to wait until. This is brand new.
Is it like a separate app for Amazon, like a video app?
So it'll show up on your phone. There'll be a little, instead of 4 icons at the bottom of your app, there'll be 5. This is the buyer app.
Right straight through the Amazon app, though.
Right.
Okay. I wonder how successful that'll actually be.
Okay, so
take advantage of it.
A lot of weight in my face. What are you guys talking about on the app? What app?
It's it's called Amazon Inspire. So the one thing I will tell you is look at the money that was made with TikTok and those platforms at the very beginning. Rare do I catch something in the very beginning that I go, I qualify for it already because I'm already an Amazon influencer. I already make videos and put on products. And I'm getting rich, by the way, doing that. You should see the amount of money I have made so far on my videos. And I'm getting
37 cents.
Hold on a second. I got to kill that. Amazon affiliates. I had to switch.
Marsha, I'm down 51 pounds from my weigh-in.
Guess how much commission I've made?
How much?
47 cents.
$1.76.
You rich, man.
But I've only made
Sizzler, we the win Sizzler.
But I've only made 12 videos, and all the sales have been from one video. So I've learned already, what type of video does better.
What to focus on too. What type of product? I bet you in the tech world, tech sector, those are probably better.
So it was the only thing I've sold is the same product 3 times. It's a magnetic car mount. So a lot of people want the MagSafe car mounts for their iPhones. I don't know if you have one or not. But the big deal with MagSafe is you can't see it on this phone. Let me take the phone cover off. If for those of you who don't have iPhones, don't get a 14 because it still scans like shit. Okay. That little circle right there is the magnet that is magnified through the case. And so the mount on the dash is a big round circle, and it sticks to there. So I have a USB plugged into it, so it wirelessly charges every time I throw the phone up there. And very secure, doesn't move. The nice thing about it is you can turn the phone any way you want to because it's on a magnet. And it's the worst thing about phone clips is unclipping the damn things, clipping them in. Most of them are so stiff and rigid you can't move them around. And so this one, the MagSafe ones are really, really nice. I'm gonna try logging in as my seller account and see if I can get that Inspire going today. But so I've sold 3 of those now off one video. But
that video is strictly on Amazon, right? That's
it. Just video, nothing else. And it's down at the bottom of the listing, underneath the information, underneath the questions, and people click on it, and then they buy the thing based on your review.
The only thing I would worry about with that is if you're giving an honest review, which I know you are on that particular product.
Correct.
And you would, but there's going to be a lot of guys out there who just want to make some money on the affiliate program and give reviews that are positive only because they know it'll sell the product.
Correct.
That would bother me. Well, I don't know.
Okay, so here's how this thing works. I'll give you the video that Johnny and I are making today. I'll tell everybody because most of y'all can't be most of y'all aren't in the program anyway, so it doesn't matter. But I want to tell you how you got to change the way you're thinking. The title of this show is, what's holding you back from achieving your dreams. We're going to talk about that in a little while. So right now, going crazy on TikTok is Zote soap, ZOTE soap. Basically, it's a laundry bar soap. It's been around for quite a while. So the influencers who are going crazy, they've decided this laundry soap cleans their makeup brushes. So it's going crazy in the makeup section, makeup influencers on TikTok. So the first thing I did was start looking it up. You can find this stuff. Don't buy it you can find this stuff at Walmart. You can find this stuff at Lowe's. Everybody's in stock. It's not rare right now. But it's $1.62 a bar. So it's not
right
big,
up my alley.
So it's not a big product. The problem is it weighs 14.1 ounces. And so if you've got $1 product that's by the time you ship it, you're pushing a pound. I mean, you're gonna have to throw in a poly mailer or a bubble mailer to get under a pound. You're talking $6.15, 20, 30 cents. When the new prices come in, whenever they come in, it's gonna be even more. And there's
fit in one of those 7x4x2s.
No,
too big.
Yeah, it needs to be in a 644. So I looked at it. I'm like, there's no way for me to make money on. Well, you'll make a few dollars, but you got to realize even if you got 100%, it's $1.62 product. And so I'm like, that's a lot of work. It's the same thing I found with the cat food I did a few weeks ago. That's a lot of work for a little bit of money. So what's my idea? So when Joni gets up and moving this morning after the show, we're gonna film a video about using. She's gonna clean her makeup brushes with the soap. And we'll tell you what we think about it. And I'm going to film her doing it. I'll edit the video. So here's the kicker. It's a $10, $12 product. Some of the 3-packs are 20 or 30. It's not a big product, because the percentage is not great on the affiliate. I mean, it's because Amazon cut their percentages a few years ago. But where's the opportunity? There's nobody on these listings with videos. So I'm going to be the only one, unless one of you guys makes it. I'm going to be the only one this afternoon on the videos. There's like 50 different products. So one video covers every color, every 2-pack, 3-pack. So I'm going to sit here and get a list of all the ASINs of all the Zote soap. And then all you got to do when you're making the video is tell it which ones. And once they approve the video, which takes like usually between 1 to 3 hours, I've already gone through the process to be eligible to be attached to. That took 6 weeks to get eligible to put it on products. Even though I was in the program, it still took 6 weeks of approval to approve those videos. Now I've got one video of a product that's been inspired by video on 30 listings. So I stand a much better chance of selling and making money on this one, even if it's only 10, 15, 20, a quarter at a time.
Should also
30 listings on a hot product.
I've been watching another guy who's also an influencer who does that. And he also makes a YouTube video about it on a separate channel, like a review channel.
So you guys will be able to see it without clicking through on these things, because the old live channel is now Bearded Picker Reviews, is what I believe it. And so it will be posted on that channel sometime, hopefully today, if not tomorrow. So you can, if you're subscribed to that channel, it's not monetized anymore, but I'm going to use it for the traditional links. And then I'm going to take the same video and Instagram and TikTok. So that one video is going to go in like 5 places. And of those 5 places, the one on Amazon is going to have 30 different listings. So
well, it's a good test to see how good that program works.
Yeah.
For sure.
24K says we all need Rolexes. Had one, been there, done that.
Here it is. That's my Rolex. It's as close as I get.
Yeah, 1987 gold presidential.
He's a big watch seller, John. I saw.
Oh, he's trying to sell.
I always say Saudi, but he's not in Saudi.
He ain't selling many Rolexes right now.
So it's just a different, so what's holding you back? Are you not, I've got a list of, let me clear out my $1.76. My $1.76 influencer that I'm mega rich on. Because this is the early time of the year, how do you ensure that you're successful in 2023 and meet a lot of your goals? You got to start off in January. If you like a lot of these people and go, well, the first 3 quarters of the year are not that great, I'm really going to do everything in the fourth quarter. That's putting a lot of eggs in one basket, So figure out what's stopping you. Is it a lack of resources? Do you not have self-confidence? Do you not look at this panel right here? There is not a GQ model. I hate to be the one to break it to you guys.
Oh, come on.
There's not a GQ model on this panel.
Bitch, yes, I am. All I got to do is show my checkbook.
So, self-confidence comes from a lot of it comes from knowledge, being confident in what you know. I mean, a lot of people have a lot of self-doubt. Fear of failure, I think, is number one. People are scared to try things and do things because they're scared of it. And I don't care who you are. Steve will probably tell you the same thing. Every time I post a video, except for the last one, I have doubts about, how will people take it? Should I have really made this video? Is it helpful? I have all these doubts about it. And then I hit the button anyway. You've got to get to the point where you hit the button.
I had the same thought. I put out a stupid little how to test your remote with your phone video this week. You know how many takes that was? Because of my mind telling me that's not good enough. That's not good. Yeah, I get it.
But it starts with a mindset. I'm down 51 pounds since I started weighing myself. I'm probably down 60, 65 pounds from when I changed my mindset and said, I'm going to start doing the right things, stop drinking milk, started drinking water, blah, 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 whatever I did. But it was all up here. It started here.
I'm down this many.
Right. And it starts here. Until you change what's between your ears, you're not going to accomplish anything more than what you're already accomplishing. You have to change your mindset to start. So if you want to do YouTube videos, you have to change your mindset about how you post.
Okay, so the guy I watch a guy named Builderpreneur, good channel. He does a lot about with marketing and influencing, and he's the one I originally saw the first video to do the Amazon influencer. When I realized, wait a minute, you're already in the Amazon influencer program. You just need to submit a video to get approved. So, but he's the one who I saw the Amazon Inspired and and this guy's smart. So he tells you about these programs, and the number one comment in there is, I don't have an audience. I can't get approved. And so at the end of this video about Inspire, he says, I just want to let you guys know my next video, the video next week is going to be on what you can do to build an audience. What of everybody I've talked to in this, what you need. We're going to talk about building an audience to get approved for Amazon influencer. This guy's smart. And so if you're interested in this kind of stuff, Build-A-Preneur is his name. But yeah, don't let, how many people in the comments see his video, see the opportunity and go, well, I don't have an audience, or I don't have this, or I don't have that. And you just let it go and walk away instead of going, I can do that. I can build, because there's no set number. There's no, you got to have 20,000 subscribers. Amazon is looking, the biggest thing they're looking for is you have an audience that you have, an interactive audience, an audience that participatory. That's a tough word for a Southerner. The participatory audience, interactive, because they want, and a lot of it too, especially on the YouTube side, is can you make videos? A lot of people just scared, and you never have to be in any of these videos. I mean, if somebody has got self-doubt or still lacks self-confidence, you can be like Todd, Silver Hair Stacker, and just show your hands.
I almost did that remote video with just my hands. But because why would I need to be in it? But I also know that people relate better to a video when you're in it. So that's why I did.
Mark, unless you open a case and discuss it with Amazon, I don't know if there's anything you can do. Once a listing has a price reference on it, whether it's good or bad, and they're going to high price you, list it on eBay or list it somewhere else. I'm telling you're fighting a losing battle with the high price errors.
I have found ways to change it, but it takes a very long time, and it has to be very specific circumstances. And
at some point, somebody with deep enough pockets is going to, and maybe it's going to be the government if somebody gets it in the right talks. Amazon is price fixing, 100% price fixing, because the same rule doesn't apply to everyone. Mark, you're doing it right now. They don't allow you to sell it for your price, but they're allowing others to sell it for hundreds of dollars more. And so everyone is not treated equal. So Amazon is controlling. They're putting controls on prices that shouldn't be there in an open market. Because I think the thing that triggers it, if you have a repricer and once it reprices, that triggers the Amazon system to look at your price. So if you've got a listing that's not on a repricer, that it's got a high price, it's just sitting there, a lot of times it doesn't get touched. And so you're allowed to sell a listing at a higher price. And yeah.
I just listed one the other day that was not on a repricer and it got a high price error. I got it slowly down to where the price was, and it was still acceptable to me. Yeah, I was the only one on the listing at the time, so I put it at the highest possible price. Now, a month from now, if I'm still the only one on the listing, now I could probably go back in and raise that price a little bit higher, because they're just looking at history of where maybe that thing only retailed for $49, and somewhere on the internet that thing is $49. So that's where they're getting their price alerts from. They're trying to keep it down for their customers, but it doesn't work for everybody the same way. It's weird. I've had price alerts on FBM, David.
I got 142 of them right now.
Price alerts. Yeah. Is that so? What's the name? Take care of that every day or works on it?
Nah, some of them are 3 months old. I'll get around to it.
It probably ought to. Yeah, ought to. Well, because you're paying for inventory that you're not selling.
No, FBM.
Oh, okay. Well, that's a little different then.
Mark, you couldn't get the ladies to drive them to you this time? That's a shame.
Listen, everybody laughs at me. I really am retired. I got a few things I got to take care of. I got things that I got to do. It's like when you retire and have a stock portfolio. I'm not talking about money market accounts or any of that. I'm talking about if you trade stock in your own account, you know, you go in and you check up on things, and that's what I do in my life. And I really am, you know, things happened that didn't allow me to do January 1st. There was issues. You know, I was on the phone last night at 8:00 with a vendor because he's still dealing with his family emergencies. So he doesn't have time sometimes until 8:00 at night, and he calls me and he knows that I'm here.
So Mark, yeah. Understand, and this is the part that people miss. The Rock Band reference price of $169 was probably the retail price. The $640 is it's gone. You can't find it anymore. That kind of stuff. And so when you look at it and go, their reference price was wrong. No, their reference price was probably retail at the time, whether it's good or bad.
And until eBay starts price alerting, that's where you're going to have to sell some of that kind of stuff.
And that's 100% the truth. I've moved some. I didn't like the price on Amazon and what they were allowing me to sell, and eBay allowed. So I have moved. I have several items on eBay. I wouldn't, especially if it's not but a few items here or there. I will wait out the price on a few items versus throwing it on Amazon.
I have quite a few items that I check the price on both platforms on almost everything. Because there's a lot of times lately that eBay outdoes Amazon price wise. Now, sales velocity wise, it's never going to be that way. So, but if I'm willing to wait on a product a little bit, I can make 20 or 30 more dollars. I'm going to do it, you know. Just
eBay price alerts are coming. Get ready. I think you're wrong. Like,
I don't think
it would be
price alert it.
Okay, so they might be coming for, say, just new only, but how do you price alert on used when conditions are so different across the board? That's the problem they have. Notice Amazon does not price alert. I've never seen it. I mean, I might be wrong, but I've never seen a price alert on collectible or anything used. Have they done? Has anybody had a price alert on a used item?
No, I haven't. No, but I don't sell a lot of used, so. On Amazon. Now on eBay, they've already done that. I mean, there's a lot of things you can't sell because they've taken it down, like a lot of your essentials. They've done it, and they'll do it again in the future, but it's only on certain things, and I don't think it'll ever go to the collectible side.
So yes, they can return it for not needed anymore. I get that all the time. Mark says, what's the point of raking profits flip from eBay to Amazon course then? I'm in that course. He gave me access to it. I think you guys saw that about 6 weeks ago when he came in here. It's impressive. There's money to be made flipping eBay to Amazon, 100%. I promise you.
I could tell you, Rakin has bought one from me to flip on Amazon, and I didn't see the money in it, but he did. So there's got to be something to it.
You know, well, he's also got a number, you know, whether, you know, your minimum is a 50% number and his might be a 30, you know, it's,
his is probably a lot less than mine because it's that type of, it's almost like a wholesale model, basically.
And you also have to understand, you get to a point where you look in your checkbook and you go, my money's not working for me.
Right.
It's too hard to, and Warren Buffett talks about this with buying stock. It's too hard for me to invest my money for the return that I want. I have to accept smaller returns on the money that I have sitting. Not smaller money on my overall investments, but smaller money on cash sitting.
So Backyard Mower says, had an Amazon return come back item swap. They had me open a safety claim. So here's an important thing. You get an Amazon return back that's been swapped. If you give a refund before opening a safety claim, they're going to deny the safety claim every time. You have to go through the safety claim process and submit your pictures and do all that craziness. or you can just submit your pictures and give them a half refund and be done with it. I suggest doing the 50% route. It's a lot easier. Most of us, that'll cover your costs and cover shipping. Because
it goes back to mindset too. Because I was in a group yesterday. This guy got sent the wrong thing back. He said a box of rocks. Who knows? But it was $65. He said, I've sold hundreds of thousands of dollars on eBay. He's quitting eBay for $65. I'm like, well, that's what's holding you back right there.
It's your mindset. That kind of mentality. It's a negative mindset.
And he didn't get the response he thought he was going to. And that was one of those groups that usually jump on. Yeah,
it's a mindset. I said this a half an hour ago.
I mean, you look at me. Go watch. If you hadn't watched my video, go watch my video. I honestly don't know what's in the returns. Amazon returns, when they come into my Gmail, there's a rule. If it says it's the return language, it goes to a separate folder that's far enough down the list. I never see it. I've gone and told you there's thousands of emails in there over the last several years. I don't know what's coming back. I don't care. There's nothing you can do about it. You have given that authority to Amazon through the FBA program. Move on and worry about something you can control. Don't let that negativity, don't let that. I got a lot more things to worry about than some of those used underwear coming back that I've got less than 50 cents in. What do I care?
When you get caught up in that, then you run into problems.
I mean, it can ruin your outlook. It can ruin your process. That kind of negativity, you've got to keep it out of your way. It is so detrimental to you personally, and it'll affect I'm telling you, I've told this story. By the time I left restaurants, 25 years and being, I was very miserable for a lot of those years. My own mother says, "Can I ask you a question? Can I tell you something?" I'm like, "Yeah, you've got free reign. You've known me the longest." She's like, "Well, since you've been out of the restaurants, the asshole across the street has disappeared. I didn't even recognize who you were the last couple of years. You don't realize how when you're in a bad situation and you don't realize how it affects you and changes you, but everybody else around you sees it, including every other customer you deal with."
It makes me wonder, what kind of customer service does this guy give? Or what kind of, why would I want to buy from somebody like that? Even though, yeah, he's right. I mean, he shouldn't have got a box of rocks back, but it's a business, and he says he sells a ton. You got to think of it like that. I take some things personally too that I shouldn't. I think we all do, but
you got to learn to let it go. After about give yourself 5-10 minutes, whatever it is.
Yeah.
It's important to have a group. I've talked about this over and over. It's important to have a group of 5-6 people around you. Somebody you can vent to, somebody you can bitch to, somebody who understands it, and then somebody and grounded enough to go, well, that was fun. What are we doing now? Somebody to redirect you, move on. Yeah, Felix, that's probably not the truth.
How much is your time worth?
I don't know how much I'm gonna charge for the blankets. Surely there's a market out there. If I have somebody sew these flexies together, they have a nice aroma.
Well, you could just sell. I mean, I don't know where you sell them anymore, but remember the days where you could sell
you
those?
Could sell all that stuff on eBay. Now you can't.
Yeah.
So I had a video that I went live. I'm doing lives on Thursday night just to see about reaching a different audience than the mornings. And I guess 3 weeks ago, somebody from Huntsville was in the chat and they said, "Beard, you got to go to this estate sale. You got to check out what's in the closet." And I'm like, all right, I'm game. So I wore the little white camera, but I didn't turn the video the right way. And so it doesn't work on YouTube. But so I'm in the house. I'm looking at electronics. I'm all these movies everywhere. I've got a stack. I bought 75 DVDs, all brand new at this estate sale. And I get around to the utility closet, 2 more trunks of DVDs. I'm like, oh, damn, I'm going to be here for hours looking through all this to get the new ones. One of those trunks was full of gay porn. Gotcha, Steve. And there's no.
Oh, I thank God I could swallow it. Well, now that just sounds bad.
That was probably a line in one of those movies.
Hold on. Let me, yeah.
Sandy, there she is. She's the one that sent me that. Said, "Hold." I mean, we're not talking one. We're not talking one video. We're not talking two videos. We're talking a trunk full, double line trunk full of gay porn.
You know what? There's money in that if you know where to sell. I don't know where to sell it. I wish I did, because I find things like that on occasion. Not gay porn.
We have granted an A to Z claim. We've covered a clause that doesn't count against you. Thank you. So here's so Sandy, did you see the little statues? Oh my God! So if you're sensitive and that kind of stuff, if you're sensitive and that kind of stuff, please look away. Should have known it was going to be gay porn because they had 5 statues. They had these dudes that had a kickstand.
It looks like Bigfoot.
Steve says he wants it.
No, but there's probably money in that. I would buy them for sure.
Yeah, right.
To sell. I don't know. It's art. You can sell that on eBay as long as it's considered art.
Mark, once it passes, Amazon's rule is once it passes 30 days, the return period closes. So you're not responsible for anything that happens. If they haven't returned it, especially if they haven't shipped it, they decided to keep it. I just let it go. I don't want to mess with it. It just goes off and it stops showing up on your thing eventually. Oh, Felix. So if it didn't do it automatically, I think there's a dollar figure that it does that. Once you've got it and inspected it, then you just complete the return process as normal. But I think mine says like 7 returns that you need to deal with 7 returns on the main page. And on those returns, I look at all of them. None of them are shipped. Just waiting for the postal carrier to pick them up or whatever it says. Or what, not postal, but waiting for the carrier. eBay, anytime picker is 100% correct. Roman's right. It will, 48 hours, it closes. So if you need to, eBay, you need to take a little more seriously. You've got 48 hours to inspect the item, deal with whatever percentage you're dealing with. If not, eBay is going to give them their full amount back and then hold it against you for not whatever it is, not helping out in the situation, whatever they call it.
I guess I got a lot of them. I do nothing with returns.
I get so few that it's easy to deal with them.
Felix, you're right. Mr. Sadie is of that age where SAG becomes more of an issue. It's terrible right there. We're not going to derail this show about ball sag. But you've got to control your mindset. You don't understand negativity that creeps in. I can't imagine the person has a bad return and quits. One of the things I talk about, and I'm building the class. Hopefully it'll be out a week from Friday. The first thing I talk about is why. You got to remind yourself, why do you do this? Why do you go through the problem to have a side hustle or make reselling or whatever? It could be whatever it is. Why do you do what you do? Because I don't care what it is. There's going to be tough times and everything. You see, here's a great example. So one of the podcasts I've been listening to is the Mentor Mindset by Rob Dial. Man, I like this guy. He had Tony Robbins on the other day. In an hour and 20 minutes time. I've never been a Tony Robbins fan because I didn't know anything about Tony Robbins. I've just never, I don't know why. And you think, man, that guy has got all the money in the world. Man, look, he is, I don't know where he's worked from. But he tells a story in this podcast. And dude had a crazy rough upbringing. You would never know. You know, he developed his mindset and everything out of the ashes of I think my childhood is awful. His was probably worse. And it's all about mindset, protecting, understanding you can do whatever there's resources out there. You can do whatever you want to do. You know, but people see Tony Robbins and go, I could never be a speaker like that. Because you expect to step in and command and from his experience and everything. Did you know that Tony Robbins? Did you know he had a goal to feed 1 billion people, and he's going to reach that goal? And so now they've had to increase it. Did you know that? I didn't know that. Did you know he came from a broken home with 4? He said 4 fathers. He was abused as a child. He took care of his younger brothers and sisters. And an abusive drug addict, alcoholic mother who even when he was 17 years old, he said the breaking point was she thought he was lying. And so she made him bend down even at 17 because he said he was 6'1" or whatever it was at that time and put soap in his mouth till he threw up. And he literally, he said, I actually thought she was going to stab me with a knife. I had to leave. You know, you look at the guy and go, man, he's had the perfect life. It can be no farther from truth. It's amazing. James, you're 100% correct. We've all life is not easy. Life is hard for everybody, no matter where you're at. It's do you have the mental toughness to see your dreams and reach for your dreams, no matter what? I mean, look in sports. You see sports characters all the. Go do some reading on Najee Harris. Najee Harris as a running back for the Pittsburgh Steelers. I don't know if he was rookie of the year when he was a rookie, but he came through Alabama. When he was a child growing up, they were homeless. Him and his mom lived in a car. And now what does the dude do? Not only has he been ultra successful and worked his way through and waited his time behind Derrick Henry and all these other guys, he spends his offseason helping people who are where he was.
Well, that's what you find with those people like that, for the most part. They have such a drive to help others. I mean, and I understand it because I have my own.
Right. Absolutely.
I haven't found a way to give back like they do. I haven't found my platform. I haven't found the way that I'm able to help. Now, in my group, I know that I help people. They say it. They acknowledge it. I get the emails and stuff like that. But that's not what it's not the attaboys you're looking for. It's just a sense of giving back so that somebody else doesn't have to suffer like you did.
So I treat a lot of this show as giving back. People ask, why have you done, how have you continued to do this show for 5 years? I did take a 3-month break, but it's I feel blessed to do what I do. I feel blessed to have escaped the 25 years of restaurants that made me miserable, and I'm happy than I've ever been. You know what the highlight of my week's been so far?
Seeing me?
Well, except for seeing Steve, he came on and I immediately cheered up. It was great.
How couldn't you?
I got a message from someone who was taking one of my classes, and they said, I just wanted to let you know this is the result. I reached this milestone. I couldn't have done it without you. And I'm like, you did all the work. I just kind of pointed you in the right direction. It still takes a lot of work. You still have to, there's no magic wand, but I love that. I love seeing that this person had reached one of their goals and is still actively striving. Has it been perfect? They've gone back to work to try to make sure that they've got enough, but they are still fighting and still celebrating a wonderful milestone. In their reselling career, they've sold $100,000. That's a milestone. When you start from nothing and have to learn it and have sold $100,000 in a year, that's to be celebrated as you keep going. And that has made my week that, somebody has taken the time. I love it when people go, man, I watched a big video. It's the reason why I resell. It's given me a lot of freedom. It's allowed me to do this and that. I just pointed you in the right direction. You do all the work. I don't do any of the work. So that's, John, that's the thing that I have enjoyed the most about social media is hearing, because I'm an introvert. I could walk away from this and never talk to another soul.
I'm right there with you.
And so I have to fight that. You wonder, why is the Beers channel? A lot of people have passed me inside channel and that kind of stuff. It's because it's not me. I'm not what's taking me so long to build a course. I fight the negative doubt. I fight all the time being an introvert. I just don't talk about it a ton. So this one, when I listened to a podcast the other day of Rob Dahl talking about other people's opinions and that kind of stuff, really lit a fire, got me going, hopefully strong enough to push through this. He said, I can count on one hand in business how many people's, and it's probably 3 opinions that matter. And he said, I asked you the same question. How many people's opinion matter? Because we are a tribalistic society, other people's opinions, why does somebody have the house down the street that's got 15 rooms in it and they can only live in like 2? Why does your neighbor have 2 new cars, a big house, and you know what they do, so you know about what the siren range is, and you sit here and wonder, how are they breathing? How do they afford it? It's absolutely how much of that is, Gary Vee talks about it all the time. People going in debt to these big houses and other things to prove to others some kind of false sense of, beat on their chest. Look at my house. He said, he said, I've got 2 lists. I've got a personal list and a business list. The same, they don't cross most of the time. If my mother gives me advice, is what he said, about child rearing and raising a family, that kind of stuff, she was very successful, very good at it. I value that opinion. If mother wants to tell me business advice, she's never operated or owned a business, anything. Why, I listen to her.
I've heard a lot of people say, well, I can't get my family to understand what I do. You don't have to. You don't have to get your family to understand. They're not business people. Now it's nice that if they would, but it's not necessary.
I have
eventually they will come around if you are successful.
Steve and I are exact opposites. John and I are more like, we both have supportive spouses. They don't have any interest. Johnny asked me questions about, what do we do this? What do we do that for the business? But has no interest in reselling, has no interest in going with you by, Lori will knock you down. If you're looking for something, Lori will knock you down to find it. But
she's not,
she's the reseller of the business.
Because it's just, she wants to be included. It's not, she wants nothing to do what I do. Nothing. She's very supportive.
But very supportive, and that's what you need. Don't
the only thing she wants to know is what credit card she can use to go shopping at Goodwill today. That's it. Listen, she's in the shower now. She'll be out of here in an hour, walking to Goodwill, which is 1.5 miles from here. I offered a driver, and she wants to walk back and forth. She loves to walk now, but that's what she cares about. Can I go shopping? That's it. Is the business doing well enough that she can go shopping? But to Steve's point about your family will come around, for the most part, they'll never change their opinion.
Yeah, it depends on your family. My family did.
But I just need.
In fact, some of them want to do it.
So you need to change your expectations. Do you need them to help you with it, or you just need them to be the positive approval, cheerleader? I don't understand what you do, but I'm glad you're happy. You do what you do. You reach your goals. You're not going to convince them to join you in reselling. You're not going to get them, because I told you last week, we're the weirdos. We're the ones that see opportunity. I'm at a yard sale. I don't see what I need. I see what can I make money on? What's this worth? I see I look exactly and see the arbitrage naturally. Nobody, vast majority of people don't see that. And so to expect, just because you have a relationship with somebody, they're going to see it. It's a learned skill.
That's funny, because before Marcia got into the reselling, we would go to yard sales and she'd pick something up And she'd show it to me, and I'm like, oh yeah, they go for such and such amount of money. I'm not buying this for resale, that kind of thing. She had no clue. And now that she does it, it's the opposite. She'll pick something up and we'll discuss the price of what it can sell for. Now, we don't do that publicly very often, but you know what I mean? We don't want people to know. We were at the Binzel a couple weeks ago, and she said, oh, this goes for $30, and somebody stole it out of her cart when she went to the bathroom. So we got to be careful on that. But
so Beth made a reseller rowboat, made an important, mine wasn't interested until I started making money. That happens a lot. They don't, it's like proof of concept. Once you prove that it works, minds will change. I still remember the look on Johnny's face when I left the car dealership. After restaurants, I decided I was going to sell cars. I love cars. I can tell you anything about cars. I keep up with them. I watch car videos. I'm not a car salesman. Just am not. I tried to be one earlier. I had a really good friend. One of my better influences early on, and he left restaurants to go to car. He's like, man, you should come do this. I've had 2 people tell me that. Well, his car dealership gave you a personality test that they kind of knew. I took it like 3 times, failed at all 3 for what they were looking for. I didn't.
Yeah, they wanted a less honest person is what they want.
And when I left, Johnny's like, what are you going to do now? I'm like,
that's what they told me when I was a car salesman and why I got fired. It's because I was too damned honest.
She's like, well, what are you going to do now? I'm like, well, I think I'm going to make eBay full time. I think, as good as I am, and I love doing this and selling, we had fought, Joni, we had fought to get her on disability. So we'd unloaded car payments. All we had was, so our bills were really low at that time. And so I'm like, I'm pretty sure I can ramp up the eBay enough to, and that's where it started. I bet on myself, and the look on her face was kind of shock, but she's, it immediately switched to cheerleader. If that's what you want to do, I think you can do it.
I had a similar experience with car sales. We had a class that we had to take, not a personality test. Probably would have failed that, but I graduated first in that class. I was the top salesperson from the class, but when it came into practice, I was not good at all because I'm not a salesperson, Academic.
I just so you know, I went through a class with a very, in the car market, he's famous, Jackie B. Cooper. He was around.
It might have been the same guy for me. I don't know.
And the first thing he said in the class was, if you're caught lying, you will be fired.
If you're caught lying, yeah. But literally, when my boss fired me from that job, he told me the reason was I was too honest. Seriously.
I never lied to have to sell I never lied about anything.
Neither did I.
And I did very well. My best year selling cars was in according to my Social Security thing we just looked at, it was like 1989. I grossed $125,000.
That's a good number back then.
That was a huge number back then, dude.
Oh, yeah.
And I had no car payments back then because they paid for my cars. That doesn't include the cash that they gave me under the table. There, back then there was all kinds of incentives on selling cars. But you have to understand something. Now I'm going to go to the other end of the spectrum with this dream thing. Make sure that your dream doesn't override your life. You have to find what you need. There has to be some kind of balance in your life. And, a lot of people laugh at me right now because I said I'm retired. They see me struggling. I'm going through a real hard time in my life. And it's because of the dream I had was to be so big that I didn't include myself in that dream. It was always about the business.
Right.
And now I find myself going, okay, what do I do?
Well, the one thing looking from the outside, you also poured everything into it and all consuming. You never had a hobby. Now you're trying to develop a hobby, and a lot of us are that way. A lot of us have put stuff. I can't tell you how many times Harlan and I have been at yard sales and we'll see golf clubs and other stuff, and we're going, I'm not buying golf clubs because I don't play golf anymore. You know, stuff that you enjoy doing, you just don't make time for. So I think Mark's talking about trying to get some answers to returns and packages like loss and stuff. Remember, if you're using Amazon and eBay shipping, you're using their accounts. For the most part, if you're trying to file damage claims with UPS and that kind of stuff, you have to go through Amazon to get it done or through eBay to get it done. You're not using your own account. That's one of the reasons why on eBay I use Pirate Ship. It's a little easier to do things, but especially with Amazon, if you're doing Amazon merchant fulfilled and you're trying to get a UPS claim, because you're gonna deal with UPS and they're gonna go, well, it's not your account. Amazon needs to file it. And Amazon's gonna tell you, well, file it with UPS. You're stuck in the middle, and it's very difficult.
I've never had an issue. Well, I've never had to file a claim with UPS, but USPS, I don't have an issue. And I filed both on Amazon.
No, it's
and
different. USPS.
But UPS, no, I haven't tried yet, but I've heard that. Same with FedEx.
Well, I have a FedEx rep, so I just tell him and he gets it taken care of. Usually, in all honesty, guys, for me, it's part of doing business.
Yep.
I eat some shipping I shouldn't eat. I eat some returns that are. I have one the other day. My brother's like, "What do I do with this? We haven't sold this product in 3 years." Somebody opened a return on a product we haven't sold in 3 years and got away with it. And I'm like, man, throw that shit in the dumpster. Leave me alone. Why are you wasting my time about something we ain't sold in 3 years?
And something that your cost in it was probably negligible to begin with.
Right.
I have to disagree with Lag. He says USPS claims don't even bother. I've been very successful.
I got to go.
USPS claims.
The queen wants her coffee. I just
He's in the middle of a sentence and shuts his mic off.
I got to be the coffee boy.
Every claim that I filed has been paid out except maybe one, and it was a small claim, so I didn't fight it. But yeah, USPS has always been good to me for that, and it may just be the way you do the claims. I don't know.
I have not tried anything with a tax deduction for a vehicle. See, the issue, you need an accountant to answer a lot of these tax questions. But I was looking at buying a vehicle for the business and putting it through the business. I have done a lot better as a personal vehicle used for business, writing out the mileage. You know, the Toyota sitting out there with 214,000 miles. That's 200,000 business miles on that van. Do the math. It was 58 cents a mile for most of that. There's a deduction. That's a huge number for a write-off, much more than I paid $24,900 for the van in 2016. Compare the numbers and the tax benefit I got. It's much greater than the $24,900.
Good. James W., I've had both lost packages and damage claims and they've paid them. So I don't know what the difference is. The biggest issue I think people have with filing USPS claims on eBay is how do you prove what the thing was worth? And I've always just taken a screenshot of the order.
Right.
And that's always worked for me. So I don't know. Maybe there's a different thing that people are doing that's the reason they're not getting paid out. But I've always damage claims, I've never had one turned down. So,
you know, I asked the all-knowing thing of our current. I asked ChatGPT, what are some things that you can do, a list of practical things to do to help you reach your dreams. And it's not surprising that, you know, I've already talked about some of this stuff. Set goals, be specific, and have them measurable. Set SMART goals. Create a plan of action. Stay focused and motivated based on these goals. Learn from failure. I don't think enough people take that seriously. In reselling, you've got to fail some. If you want to learn and to grow and to develop, there's got to be some failures. Show me anybody that's successful and listen to their story. There's failures along the way. Not everything always went great. Tony Robbins talks about when he lost it all again and started over before he became who he is today. It's very, very rare that somebody hits it out of the ballpark first time through and every goal is attained, all their dreams. You've got to allow yourself to fail. But failure is the way you look at failure and negative things. It's not the end. It's part of the journey. It's part of the learning process. It's a bump in the road. Everybody in this chat can tell me of a time that's negative in their life that they've learned something. It's how you treat failure, how you treat negative things. It's to seek support. Be flexible and adaptable. Everything, just because you lay it out like it is right now, you've got to be willing to change and adapt.
I'm in the midst of failure right now, monetarily, financially, but we're going to fix it. We're going to get out of it. So
and I think
it's just changing things.
The last three things it says are just truly amazing. Believe in yourself, take care of yourself, never give up. You guys understand that. You don't lose until you give up. You don't lose until you quit.
Good. I ain't quit yet.
Yeah. You don't lose until you quit.
Yeah. I got to address a couple things about ChatGPT. I've been playing with it a lot. It's great for what Tactical Z is using it for, writing emails to customers, writing descriptions for your Amazon and eBay products.
Correct.
What it's not great at is writing a book, ebooks, and it can do okay with like YouTube outlines, scripts and things like that. But if you're using it, if you're watching these other guys who say, go write a book with this thing and publish it, well, there's going to be a lot of misinformation on the internet.
Now, Timothy Dole, you're 100% correct.
Bad.
Super Bowl teams have lost games before they won. That's been a lot to see. Everybody knows. You see, if I unblur, Alabama's all in this room. I love my university. And when Nick Saban was really rolling through 2009 through 2013, and even Alabama shows up and we've already won. That other team is in such awe of the monsters of the Midway that they don't put their best game forward. There are games that Alabama won just because we're Alabama.
It's all mindset. Like we started out with, it's all mindset. Somebody mentioned Dave Ramsey. I was in the bins the other day and Dave Ramsey's course was sitting there. Well, nowadays, if you sell that course as a course, it's worth $15. It's not worth selling. But if you take the CDs out of it, the DVDs out of it, sell those separately, and you take the book as long as it's sealed and sell that separately, and now you're going to, this guy picked it up, put it back. He said, it's not worth anything anymore. It was. It's still worth, and it's just a mindset of anything you do. You got to look at things differently than other people do, and you'll make it.
A lot of people say in a lot of the versions, Josie said it really well. Failure is a stepping stone to true success. That's well said.
All right. I'm about to succeed.
Listen,
it's mindset though. Even when you're in the midst of
if I would have quit, things. I would have not been sniffing undergarments yesterday. It's all.
Listen, looking back over my life,
how many times did you have to quit, John? How many times have people bet on you quitting?
I can't even count the number of times I was ready to sell my company for $1. You have to understand.
I have a copy of that signed, by the way.
Dave Ramsey turned his bankruptcy into his mission. The problem with Dave Ramsey is he doesn't disclose 100% of the truth.
Of course not.
I've done a little research into his bankruptcy. What he was doing was extremely high risk. He was talking about the banks called the loans on all these mortgages. They were not mortgages.
If you find the book with that dude in it, he said he'd sign it. Mr. Pornstash himself will sign it.
And he will, because I have one.
Dave Ramsey doesn't fully disclose what's behind that bankruptcy. They were all short-term, 90-day commercial loans, which are the highest risk when they know that the market is collapsing. That's why why he ended up in bankruptcy. They called all his loans on the houses he was flipping.
Right.
It's like the credit card company going, "Hey, your credit limit's been cut," and you're like, "I pay my bill every month."
Yeah, I had that recently.
It's what happened to Dave Ramsey, and he forgets to tell that part of the story.
We had quite a good amount of spendable, on a credit card, and then she paid like $2,000 on the card to pay it down some. And guess what happened? Now my credit was down by $2,000. They waited for me to pay that, and then they cut the credit limit. It does happen. That's
the other thing. Mr. Sadie brought up a point. I'm like, John, with my past, not much scares me now. I've been on both sides of the fence, man. I've been to where I've eaten pizza out of a trash can to where I could sit down to an $800 steak. And so there's no risk that I look at and go, yeah, that's too much of a risk. If I like what it is, I mean, there's risk that I just don't take because I don't believe in them or I don't want the risk or whatever. But if I find the right thing, I'll risk it all again.
So McCassidy, I don't know, there's a short video on sending a return label. It's as simple as, so there's some things Amazon won't return. Most of the time it's a hazmat or it's a non-returnable item. And they call customer service, and customer no service tells them, sends you an email saying, we've been contacted by the Amazon customer and they'd like to return this item. And could you please send them a return label? That means Amazon won't do it and they're trying to get around it. So you've got one or two options. The easiest way to do a label is go on Pirate Ship, put the address in, click on it for a quarter, return ship label, download it as a PDF and upload it and make them print it out. That's the easiest way to do it. There's not much. You don't need a video for that. But my point is, I had a lady who wanted to return cat food. And she said she called Amazon because she couldn't return it because it's non-returnable, and says she's dissatisfied with the product. Could she get a return label? So I answered back saying, this is a non-returnable item. Could you be specific? There's only a couple of reasons why a non-returnable item should be returned. And she said, I didn't realize I was paying so much. The price is ridiculous. And I replied back because I knew I was risking a negative. She says, I told her, the only two reasons you can return a non-returnable product is it was damaged or it's expired. And it was neither. Price is not a returnable item. I'm sorry, ma'am. You're going to have to keep the item. I'm not unless you want to pay to ship it back. I'm not sending the label. Didn't hear anything else from her. Got a negative feedback.
Of course. And
what did the lady say? She bitched about price just like she bitched there. And what can I tell you about price and feedback?
It's not acceptable.
It's not acceptable. It's against terms with Amazon. Amazon, the bot did not take it off. So I opened get more help. Hey, this feedback is all about price. Price is not, the customer bought. It's not an issue.
Always make sure to mention their policy on price.
Yeah, it's against terms of service to complain about price and feedback. I get an email. It took 4 days that they must be backed up or a part of the 18,000 people they laid off. Must have been some of these folks. And it says, yep, we see you've had an issue. We're sorry about that. It is against our terms of service. We're taking it off. And so the lady now has her expensive cat food and no return. I mean, no negative feedback. So, but you have to make a decision. Is it worth that to you to go to risk it?
Spam calls. I do want to address Bob T's question.
Yeah, I was going to say, can we pop Bob T's thing up there? Because
it's kind of important for people to understand that being in business for yourself isn't always fun and games. And I am in a financial struggle. And he wants to know what happened. Well, I made bad decisions. Bad financial. I bought a laser, number one. That was $5,000 right there. It is not paying for itself, even though I've tried. That's number one. Making, seeing the shiny object. I think John's talked about shiny objects, and going and chasing it is not always the best idea. buying things on credit, not always the best idea. And we just got behind. You know, it happens. Living beyond your means a little bit, a house payment, 2 cars, and, you know, things happen.
See, anytime picker, I think. So here's the way he says eBay would have probably allowed that return. So let's get this. eBay is supposed to return based on your circumstances. If it's a cat food and it's a food and you put no returns, there ain't no returns. Unless they can prove that it's not what you said it was. This listing on Amazon had 3.5 pounds in the title. You know, it wasn't, she didn't say I got less than I thought I would. You know, this crazy woman said she paid too much. Oh, well, you should have thought about that before. It cost me $12 to ship it to you. I'm not shipping it $12 back at my cost. And now I'm out $25 or $24 because you decided it was too expensive. Man, the hell with you.
Now, I want to talk about what Bob T said, because you're going to see a lot more of Steve's situation coming up. Steve's had several things go against him, and he openly talks about it. First, he's made mistakes.
He should.
He made mistakes that were costly mistakes. The laser was a costly mistake. And instead of walking away from it and not facing his obligation, he's struggling through it. So I give him credit for that. And I've done it numerous times. Steve, I'm not beating you up. You know my past, so you know that
I'll get through this too, so I know.
He's used credit to leverage his business, which there's nothing wrong with, except for when you depend on that credit to continue your business. His credit cards were taken from, I'll use myself an example. I had a $25,000 MasterCard that went to $10,000. I lost $15,000 afloat on one credit card. I had 6 credit cards I was running my business on at the time. Did I openly talk about it? Yes. But these are things that will make him stronger going forwards in this. He'll learn from his mistakes and move on. What you need to take from this is if you're using credit cards, be prepared, because they will cut your limits. And I don't care how good you pay.
Yeah. We pay every credit card more than the minimum every month, and they still will cut them.
And so also
it's because it's the economy.
One of the things too that needs to be said too, what Steve has talked about it too, is, you know, he went chasing Amazon when he loves eBay more.
Yep. That was my biggest mistake. And
don't, just because it's we get distracted by shiny objects. You know, there's some negativity that goes with eBay, but eBay is still a viable platform, and it is, you can work eBay and make a lot of money. You make more money per item. It's just different, and it's, you know, you don't have the sales velocity. eBay is not set up for the most part to sell 1 million of an item like Amazon is. So as long as you understand it and do a lot of it too, do where your passion is, do what you enjoy.
I think talking about the failures is, you know, you're not going to hear that most of the time from anybody. And I wish maybe some other people, I know John's talked about his failures in the past, but I wish more people would, because
Amazon lending, and
it makes it a bunch more real, you know, makes it a bunch more real. So I hope somebody learns from that. I mean, we're not going to lose our house or anything. We went to the bank yesterday, hopefully, you know, to get a consolidation loan for all these credit cards and stuff. So hopefully that goes through and we'll be okay.
Cowboy Jeans said something about Dave Ramsey helping him get in the reselling and paying off $80,000 in debt 11 years ago. Don't think that I'm like 100% anti Dave Ramsey. I listen to him frequently. I just don't think, I think all the truth needs to be told.
Well, the one thing too with Dave Ramsey and his, you know, stand against any kind of credit and no credit, is not it's hard to blanket everybody with a one size fits all. Not everybody handles credit the same. If you're a person that is responsible with credit, and but he doesn't want to draw that line, because if he draws that line and he's got people he's trying to help, everybody goes, well, I'm good with credit. Well, you're seeking help. You're probably not. And so I understand where, and business credit and those kind of things are, if you're responsible and can use it, it's okay. But, so that's part of the problem with Dave Ramsey is, a lot of people in business will tell you to use other people's money. But if you're in financial hurt and need help and start doing it, he's got a lot of great ideas, and it'll help get you out of debt and moving forward for sure.
Charlie Brown says, I get that. I entertained Amazon, but my joy was eBay.
Yep.
And that statement sounds just like glancing over, but you really need to think about that. I loved working when I was doing eBay. When we were doing the morning show, I would love getting up and, I sold 20 items or whatever it was, on the morning show. When I got into eBay, I was driven by money. There was once I figured out how to move, and you have to understand, I sell a resellable product, which means I can buy it over and over again to sell it again. When I was on eBay and I figured out how to take my listings from eBay, download them in a thing called Turbo Lister. You got to go into the archives to even look at or hear about Turbo Lister and get them onto Amazon. It took me a week to figure all that out, but my sales doubled almost overnight. And at the time, I was like, Steve, Lori and I were struggling, man. Lori would say, we would stop at McDonald's and we would each get $1 cheeseburger. And she would be like, do you think we could split $1 fry today? I'm a little extra hungry.
We're not quite there, but we're close.
You know what I mean? And it's like, so I understand that, but you have to find your path and stick to it. And
I do want to clarify a couple things. I'm not against Amazon at all. I still do Amazon. I still like Amazon. Amazon should not be my main business ever. I'm not good at it. I'm not as good at it as I thought I was. I'm not a business guy. You have to be a lot better at business than I am. eBay is a little different. You don't have to be as good at business. You're buying old used stuff and selling it. I mean, that's not that hard. And credit card. I'm not against credit card usage. I'm just against over usage like we did. So if you can handle it, but just be careful. That's all I'm saying. Be careful what you're doing and know your limitations. I'm looking at Scott over here and John over there and Dave and all these other guys who are successful and wondering why I'm not, and that I know we've talked about it a lot of times. Don't compare yourself to other people, but it's really hard not to, right. Why are they able to do it and I'm not? Well, I have to get that mentality out of my head because that's part of what got me here, looking at other people and trying to emulate what they're doing. And I should have learned my lesson on the Monopoly game. I apparently didn't.
A lot of times we talk about things and we never hear what we say. We even say, even though we give out good advice, you can't be somebody else, and it's hard for people to see that you can't be somebody else. You can see something's a good idea, but unless you incorporate it into your strengths and to how you do things, now Steve's taking the right approach. Steve is doing eBay like he loves. And he's putting things FBM on Amazon and stuff that he can just treat it more like eBay than that sort of approach. And that's using the other platform, in his way. You've got to be careful to see the shiny object and go, I want to do that, and not understand that it doesn't work for you the way you think, the way you do things. So.
I enjoyed every minute of chasing objects or chasing stuff for Amazon, but it still wasn't what I really wanted to do. I'd rather be running all over the country, going to thrift stores or flea markets or garage sales than Rite Aid. You see one Rite Aid, you've seen them all. What's there, like 3 designs?
Whew. If Steve, looking back, if you had to attribute it to one, what was the biggest mistake you made?
I don't know
where you are.
I don't know, but I think it was just the overconfidence on the Amazon bit, being overconfident that I was doing the right thing when I wasn't. This is my biggest mistake. I thought that, and my wife had seen it earlier than I did, but thinking that things are better than they are when they
and
weren't.
how's Marcia doing?
She's good.
I meant with the
she sells 4 or 5 of those things, 6, 8, 10 of those things a week, if that's what you're asking.
Yep. That's
so we have to go get. I'm sure we're getting low, but we I don't know if we can afford the trip right now, but we'll make sure she gets more. But she's doing well. She's turned her whole business to other things too. We're not stopping. We're just pivoting. She's doing a lot more parting out of things, for example, where she never even looked at that stuff before. Yeah. But she says we moved from one card to the next until they were all maxed out. And that's what got us in trouble. But it's because
that's what I was guessing.
But it's because we were at least I was overconfident in what I was doing the right thing, and I wasn't.
Was it overconfidence or did you chase too many shiny objects?
Well, I think the downfall for me was chasing those dollar DVDs. I think I got a lot of those, and then they didn't sell as good as I thought they would. And then that's what started everything. So then you got to catch up. And then I bought some other things that weren't as good. It was a quick downward spiral. You got to be careful when you're playing with credit.
When you're playing with credit, you got to be perfect, not careful. You have to be perfect. Every decision has to be perfect because not only are you looking at margin, but that margin is split between you and the credit card company. They take a payment. It
got bad enough that I considered not being on this show anymore because what do I have to offer? Because I'm not doing this. And it's part of the reason I haven't been on some of the Thursday night shows because I just don't feel, sometimes I just don't feel like talking.
But here's here's the problem. And I see this at all levels. Okay, you're a small seller with small debt in comparison to some people I know.
Oh, sure. Absolutely.
And I didn't realize how big this credit funded business is until I have people.
I ain't going nowhere, leg.
I got people coming to me needing to borrow $50,000 to keep their $8 million company afloat.
I don't want any sympathy from anybody. That's because this is not a sympathy thing.
Because their credit dried up. And I asked them, what are they doing to change it? They're trying to find more funding. That doesn't change the problem. What Steve is doing and what Steve can teach you is how to go through this with your head held high and actually make it through. I believe Steve and Marshall to be just fine. It's going to be a struggle. I can talk about what I did, but everybody sees what I have now. They can't hear it in my voice like they can hear it in yours, Steve. They can't see it in your actions.
Hey, buddy.
They can't see it in my actions like they see it in yours because I'm going to shut the show off and I'm going to go to the casino and play poker. I mean,
Robert says these are the things people need to hear, and that's the reason I'm sticking around, is because I know people. I mean, you can see Scott and his success and John and his success and hear that they had struggles along the way, but nobody's on YouTube talking about the struggles they're currently having. Dude, and that's nothing against you, Stu. You did for a while, John, when you had the Amazon loan. You got out of it.
I talked about it on the show. I mean, if you go back through my writings, the Amazon loan thing is the biggest discussion I had because once I got behind, and you have to understand, at the worst, I owed Amazon $440,000.
That's not true.
And I had $210,000 worth of assets. So if I went bankrupt, I was gone. I was done forever.
That's one thing we do not want to do. Hi, Lori.
Damn, you're fat. She's showing me a fat picture. She twirls now and everything. All right, go back to the closet. I'll freaking put the lock on there in a minute.
I just want people to know if you're struggling, there are people like you out there. And we're struggling. Some of us are struggling. Some of us will never talk about it. You know, most people on the internet will never talk about it. They will keep up appearances.
To the closest people around them. Some people don't even tell their wives when they're about to go under. And then
Right?
Derek shows up at the house knocking on the door.
But I don't want to focus the whole show on that sort of thing. I just wanted to bring it up because we're talking about what's holding us back from achieving our dream in this show. And right now, that's what's holding me back is financial issues and mentality, by my mindset.
But we also talked about learn from your failure, and you guys are in the process of rebuilding because you're taking steps for your future. You know, based on something you tried it didn't work. You're not crying over spilled milk. You guys are getting busy getting at it again and
trying. Yeah, I mean, I've done a lot of things to make this work. You know,
and it's hard. Listen,
I did better around Christmas time.
It's hard because you don't have money to work with.
Well, I got people message me every once in a while. Hey, go out and look for this, or hey, go out and look for that. And I'm thankful for that when they do it. But what people don't understand is how am I going to go buy that? You know, that's why we go to the bins every week. You know, that's where we're rebuilding from. It sounds silly, but it works. You know, we're making more money now than we did a little bit than we did before. We don't have anything here this time of year, right?
Tell everybody hello. Don't bite me.
So right now I'm doing everything possible to, besides going out and getting a job, which is the next step if I have to. And then I won't be on the show, doggone it. No, I'll have to get a second shift job. That's what I'll do. Just to be on the show.
But listen, if you got to a point where you have to get a job, it's not the end of the world, dude. And it's not forever.
Yeah, Pat Dees is a good example. Pat lost everything just about, you know.
Yeah, Pat
and
Dees.
You can come back from this stuff, and I know that. And we're not even nowhere close to that. We're not close to the failures that even John's had or Pat's had.
Cowboy Jeans asked, what would John have done differently to avoid the Amazon loan situation? They make that loan offer so tempting.
I had one from eBay recently. They're willing to give me $38,000. Well, why would I take that at this point? It's not a good idea. The payments on that loan was $800 a month.
Yeah,
Amazon would that have paid off my credit cards? Yes, but my credit card payments aren't. You know, it's almost the same as my credit card payments. It doesn't make any sense for me to, you know, it didn't make any sense.
Cowboy Jeans, I want to address Cowboy because a lot of people have asked me this to avoid the Amazon loan situation. I don't know that I should have avoided the Amazon loan situation.
Because the Amazon, people they forget that the loan situation, it can be dealt with, but if California and the tax crazes doesn't hit you at the same time, you just kind of move through it. It was the tipping point was the California and their tax bullshit.
That's what broke it. They took $72,000. They took $72,000 out of my checking account.
That's crazy, man.
Not 7,200, not 72. They took 72000 out of my checking account. It was on a Thursday.
Have they given it back yet?
Payroll was on Friday. And I had $168 in the checking account. And all I could do was pray. And
who was it?
Did they give their money back yet?
What's that?
Did they give the money back yet?
No. American Express paid me, loaned me $25,000 that Thursday night. You want to talk about a godsend?
I'm going to write that down, Bob T.
But American Express loaned me $25,000, which gave us enough to make payroll on Friday. What would I have done different? The one thing that I would have done different was when I first started taking the loans, I spent hours planning what I was going to use the money for. And I would have spread my growth out further. Meaning I would have taken smaller steps in my growth. There's nothing wrong with leveraging your inventory if you can make the payments. Right now, my entire Amazon inventory is leveraged against a small business loan at 3.25%. Do I have the assets to pay it back? Yes. So it's not the loan that hurt me. It was the growth. I tried to grow way too fast. And then I just kept borrowing because Amazon does make it easy to get that additional working capital. And the thing about a loan that has the type of loan that they give, the interest is front loaded. So you're paying most of the interest up front in the loan. So on a 12-month loan, when you get 6 months in, you paid most of the interest. So they offer you another loan because they already got all the interest money. So they want a bigger loan. They give you a bigger loan.
Right.
And you front pay all that interest. It took me 5 years to go from 440,000, 220,000 negative, which the IRS came after me for, to where I am now. And it was a long, hard fought battle. I mean, I talked about it a lot. It's been discussed. You better know.
Cha-ching.
You better know your money.
I want to address, I think it was Break Smash said something about getting a Uber Eats type job. There's just nothing here for that. We've tried, Marcia has tried to apply, and there's just none in our area because we live in a small city that just doesn't have that. Everybody here, we have a lot of pizza delivery places. I could do that, but they all have their own, so there's nothing necessary for DoorDash here. And it's a very small area, but I would do it if I could, for sure.
One thing you could look into is Rover.
What is Rover?
Rover is a pet service. And
we live in a pretty financially depressed area. That's the problem with any kind of.
But it's starting to become very popular. If you have to go on a trip and to take a pet is very expensive now. $25 a night in a hotel for a dog. If you have to go somewhere 3 or 4 nights, and if you can go over and feed the dog and walk the dog for $20, the people save $5. And they like the idea of leaving the dog home.
I don't want to make Lag says I should do some videos on this, and I think what I'm saying on the show is good enough. I don't want to actually make my channel about failure and stuff like that. So would it be good? Yeah, probably. But
actually, I'm watching a guy right now that retired at 59 and a half, and he puts out a video every day about retirement. 2 weeks ago, he was at 2,200 subscribers. He hit 10,000 this week.
Would something like that make my channel blow up? Probably.
I would be on right now because you're able to monetize your channel, right?
Nope. I'm not monetized right now, but I can. The reason I'm not monetized is because I haven't put a video up since last May. It has nothing to do with anything else.
I would be hammering this topic for 5 minutes. Not a 30-minute video. This is what I'm in debt. Here's what I'm doing today. And show people how you work out of it. You would blow up and you would have another income from it. 5 minutes. Don't do like my videos. Open the phone and go blah, 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 blah. No edit. Blah, 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 blah. No edit, no title, no nothing, and be done with it. Going through what you're going through.
Will ChatGPT write all that for me? So on my other channel, I have a separate channel that I just do test videos on, and I had ChatGPT write, and I'm talking straight to Andy right now because Andy says I should do voiceovers because my voice is good and whatever. The problem with doing voiceovers is I read a script on that channel and it's the worst thing. It's so bad. I can't. I'm not good at reading scripts. I
But
have to practice.
but remember the first. Once you get comfortable, it's like anything else. You got to do it a few times. Doing it one time, saying,
Oh, I have.
If that was the case, after my first couple of videos, I would have quit. Hell, my videos are still terrible, but I make them anyway.
My friend Chris and I did a show for a while, way back in 2012. What was the name of that show? It was before the podcast, right? But it was all scripted, and it was like an old timey radio show, but it was all about Bigfoot and things like that. And we quit doing it because my acting was so bad. But it was kind of funny. There's still clips of that around somewhere. It's probably still on the channel.
Scott, do me a favor.
I'm still working on it. That's why I have that other channel.
What am I doing?
Throw Pat D's comment up. Get with guys like ourselves, Scott, and do a flip challenge. It's not failure. It's resetting and learning from this, Steve.
Right.
Is what he said.
A flip challenge?
Listen, one of the biggest things that helped me get to where I am was a morning show we did way back in 13, 14, I think it was. Scott knows the dates better than I do. It feels like forever for me. After that show, we would sit around, and all you heard was tape guns, typewriters, unless somebody had a problem. And the people that were there were Dusty, Scott, Mike. 2012. My wife's saying it was all the way back to 2012. This was all. This is when I started doing Dollar Tree. This is when I started doing all kinds of stuff. But you gotta, if you had something like that right now, Steve, and there's people that would probably be willing to do it because it would help them as well. It forces you to do something that you don't really do, which is work steadily. You feel guilty going, I got to get up and get something to eat, because everybody else has got their head down working. It's kind of like an office atmosphere. That made a huge difference on when I was building in the beginning.
You came back? You came back? Just get you one of these.
I don't want people to buy stuff from my eBay store just because I'm having difficulties. So
Dachshunds make everything better.
I'm not going to share it.
Get you a Frank.
I'm not here for that sort of thing, by the way. I'm here to let people know that there are struggles and you can overcome them. But I don't want to overcome them artificially either. You know what I mean? So.
Well, and listen.
I do like the fact that people want to help.
There's nothing wrong with somebody helping you out by buying something from you to give you a few bucks, even if they just throw it in the trash when they buy it.
Well, I don't sell trash.
Pat D's and Phil, thanks for
you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
There are
Hustler's just wrong.
What's that?
It's wrong. I've changed my store name, so it's not that anymore. It used to be.
Ow.
That you can make it. You can recover from this, and I think,
and I know I will.
And I think not putting it on YouTube is something you'll regret.
I have issues there too, and the issues there is it's not going to be good enough, and it's the same thing Scott talked about at the beginning of the show with the video he did yesterday and the video I did just on that remote. The reason I don't do a lot of YouTube videos is because it's a mental thing, and I need to get over that too. And so I've been starting to come up with a lot of video ideas, and I will do them. But right now, do I want to do that? I'm just a little scared to do it. That's all. Because now it's more failure if I don't succeed with it. You know what I'm saying?
Maybe
that's how my mind works.
Scott, maybe at the beginning of every week, we can have a discussion of where Steve's at. And then we can chunk that piece out and upload it on his freaking platform for people to see. I'm telling you, Steve, what you would be hurting people by not telling them your story. I regret it. I regret not going to YouTube. Now, can you find my story on the internet? Yeah, and one of the biggest things I hate is that when you go searching, there's a whole big, huge section of my life that's missing because I got people started saying, "Oh, you're only in it to be a guru." This is when the gurus were coming up, becoming a big thing in the Amazon, eBay market. You're just here writing these posts to take out, to steal from our clientele base or whatever it is. You want to sell us something. And it was never that. I never had any interest in selling anything.
I have a little too much pride to throw out store links, but I haven't sold anything today, Treasure Hustlers. So there, that's what you get.
Stop biting. Okay,
God,
they will find it.
God, do me a favor.
It's not hard.
Put Steve's eBay store.
He doesn't know it.
I don't know what it is.
I'll tell you what, Steve. I'll give you a choice. You can put your store up, or I'll put your wife's store up because I can find hers.
I don't want you to put hers because I don't know that she wants people to know it.
Hey, I know that one.
It's probably not that hard to figure out. Either one of them. No, I'm not here for that. So that's why I'm not doing it.
Treasure Hustler says replace the Z with an S. Your wife's giving you up, Steve.
Yeah, but that still won't get you there.
So does it keep the link? If I've got it saved, does it save seller? Does it keep it like it does on?
I don't think you can change that.
It's just that I've never been the type who believes that asking for help is the right. I'm wrong about it. I know I am.
Oh, look, there's Bearded Picker and Packer. That douche is still
It's
around.
not Green Kia. Yeah, I just got my Etsy store right.
See?
I'm working.
I know I'm not. I know you want to help. Yeah, my wife says just Google it. You'll find it in seconds.
Oh, damn.
Kia raccoon.
But, and there's nothing wrong with people wanting to help. But what you need is...
Yeah, Google it. It comes up in like 2 seconds.
What is it, then? I'll tell you if you're right.
Steve's Slick Toys.
No, well, that's the name of the store, but that's not the actual link to it. I mean, it's not the name they go by.
Yeah, but
you've got a U.S. Open hat, a Hanes T-shirt.
I do.
A Halloween Beanie Boo.
Oh yeah, that Beanie Boo's cool.
See?
No, that's just a favorite for Etsy.
But
anyway, I'm not asking for that, guys.
Oh, I accidentally did that. Somebody delete that comment for me.
I have the power.
And he's got a copy and paste button.
Oh, that does take you to my store. There isn't anything great in there right now, so don't buy anything. But
listen, it's not about.
Okay.
Oh, I do have a backwards compatible.
Exercise your power. Then. Exercise your power and delete.
Where's my power, guys? If you do help, I appreciate it. I'm not asking.
Treasure Hustlers. Listen, Steve, we're here to help you, bud. And
I get it. I have a hard time with accepting it.
Do you think I was able to eat humble pie easily?
Well, I got some pretty cool stuff in my store.
I was selling $300K a month and was forced to eat humble pie.
I want to help people out. I want to ask for help. That's what I'm saying. I want other people to get some.
So now that you have all these people buying stuff from you right now, looking through your store, you need to start making videos about the problems you're struggling with, and don't overthink it.
So is that PS3 backwards compatible?
Yes. Well, the one, the other one is not.
The one is not. The $89 one is not, is it?
No.
I'm about to say that's cheap if it's because it's.
Well, I'm not that stupid. I make mistakes, but not that.
They're worth about. They used to be worth 200. That's still what they're worth.
They're more than that now. Mine's low. It's got some damage to it. It works great, but it has damage. So I have it at 225. My backwards compatible one.
but I just don't.
But I saw a guy buy one off that DK Oldies website, which don't do it. They're way overpriced. $400 for the same thing, and his was his was trash. So
Yeah, but is it worth now? Now here's something I did that.
don't do it, Pat. Don't do it. But anyway, what, John?
But
what if you?
Yes, Bob. You can get it all.
What if you cut your prices? Sell more.
Mine are pretty competitive already, but I can. I'll do a sale or something like a 20% off sale. I could do that.
I mean, like you get the PS.
It's not that I'm not selling anything.
If you lowered that PS thing or that game thing, whatever it is, to 150, would it sell quicker?
Well, I just listed it yesterday, so.
Okay, but when I was struggling, dude, I took every sale.
Right, I understand that, and I do a lot of the time. I even on my Etsy, I lower it all. You know those VHS. Show those. Those are damn cool. These VHS tape things I'm making that light up. Let me see if I get one. Most guys sell those for $50 over on Etsy, but I put mine at 30 something because they need to sell.
Do you want a job?
It depends on what it is because I'm not real good at computer stuff.
I need somebody to build my eBay.
Apparently, I'm not that good at it. Anyway, so this is what I'm making over on Etsy. You can see that they light up and stuff. It's hard to see on camera.
And yours are different because you're leaving the tape in. Most of them take the tape out, right?
That and mine are Bluetooth, so they have this little receiver right here is a Bluetooth receiver. So it
your royalty check has been sent. Put Pat D's comment up.
Pat is a good dude, and Pat talks to me often. Sorry about that. I been getting these spam calls all the time, and claims that I helped him with his business, and I appreciate the fact that people do tell me that sometimes. I've talked to a few people. Even last week, I talked to somebody I'm not supposed to go anywhere beyond the phone call that I had, but who said that I was more relatable than some other people, and that really meant a lot to me because it helps, But yeah, Bob, it's all right, man. But it's nice to know that somebody gets something from what you say, even though it may not even work for me. Sometimes the things I say, it might work for somebody else.
But you have to understand what you're doing is a willing.
I didn't want to turn this show into this, man.
Think about what Gary Vee says. In a relationship, you have to give 51%. You give way more than 51% by being here and being willing to admit what you're going through. And listen, being in your seat right now has got to be the toughest thing. You got to want to be able to, you probably got to want to turn the camera off, the mic off, and run.
No, yes and no. I don't like the help part. I don't like to accept help, but so that makes me very uncomfortable. The rest of it, talking about my failures, I'm not uncomfortable with that at all.
How about guidance? Would you want guidance?
If somebody could give me some, yeah.
I have a lot of free time. I can give you guidance.
So Vintage Memory said, do you need any kind of kids VHS tapes for different titles?
Those don't do well with the lights. So your popular titles, like this one's Raiders of the Lost Ark, see? And Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. And what was the other ones I had? Jurassic Park, things like that.
So, okay.
Big iconic movies of the 80s and 90s. And I could find them everywhere. So it's not that big a deal. And I haven't sold any yet, so I don't know how well they're going to do.
Where are they at?
Etsy.
How many you got?
Right now, just one of each of the ones. I only got 4 or 5 listed right now.
In your Etsy store?
Yeah, but I wanted to make sure that they were a good, viable product. And I don't want them to be an artificially viable product. So unless you really want one, don't buy one.
So I shouldn't go buy them all?
Well, no, because I need to know if they're actually, why invest more money into something that's not going to work, you know? So I don't.
So definitely,
I
if
don't want
somebody finds Star Wars VHS tapes,
yeah, I have that.
Do
I
you
just
have a
haven't made it
PayPal
yet.
account?
No, I quit that a long time ago. Yes, I do. What was so
Pat, I
funny?
love that. Pat, I love that.
that look
I
on
know-
your face was awesome.
Listen, Pat.
My face?
Yeah, whenever you told him that you quit that.
I know Pat and I don't always see eye to eye, and that he's Mr. Happy with the freaking Christmas tree up all year round, and everybody thinks I'm the freaking grumpy one.
Mark, I'm sure I have some things in my store that are overpriced.
But-
I need to go through and check.
What people don't really understand about me is Christmas is a rough time for me. My children were kidnapped Christmas morning over 25 years ago, and I've never seen them. I got grandchildren that I don't even know their names. So Christmas is tough for me. So the Christmas tree thing is really hard for me. But Pat is probably one of the kindest people I've ever met in my life. If he doesn't have food to eat, he'll give you his sandwich.
People need if anybody gets anything out of today's thing besides trying to help me out, go subscribe to Pat if you ain't.
Yeah, Pat.
Learn a lot.
Pat's an amazing guy. If you've seen some of, and I don't sit there and watch his whole video. I'm not. It's not where I want to be in my life. But Steve, man, if I can help you in any way, I'm telling you, you got my number. Pick up the phone and call. I'd call you, but I don't have your number anymore. When I lost my phone, I lost all my contacts. Scott called me and
My
I said,
wife will let you know what it is. I'm not a phone call person. Scott will tell you that. How often have we talked on the phone, Scott? Twice?
Maybe
Yeah.
five times, maybe.
That man. I checked it. Thank you. I'm not gonna.
Thanks, Treasure Hustler. Are they still dumpster diving?
I haven't seen any videos lately.
They're whatnot diving now.
Oh, they're diving. Never mind.
But I appreciate it, Pat. Ron, it's just me being me. I don't like attention and I don't like being helped, even if I should accept it. It's just it.
An error occurred. What the hell?
You guys are making me a little
Uncomfortable?
not uncomfortable. No,
Emotional?
maybe a little.
I see your eyes.
Not you guys, Pat.
Pat is just. I mean,
Damn it, Pat, you bastard.
Pat, I will make sure to thank you in some way at some point.
I like that, Pat. That's a hell of a challenge. I think I'm gonna bookmark Steve on my Facebook, and I'm gonna message him every day and ask him what he's doing. It's
Nobody made me cry yet. I don't cry.
it's hard it's hard, and understand something. If it turns a little worse, Steve, it gets even harder because, and Marcia said this earlier, that you're both depressed. Something and depressed.
A little bit, yeah.
Unmotivated and depressed, I think she said.
Something like that. I saw it. I can't remember the exact wording.
Maybe what you need is just a little push from people going, hey, what are you doing, bud? You need help with something?
I just I've never been the type to ask. You know, it's hard. That's the hardest thing in the world for me, is to ask anybody for anything. And that's why I had a hard time accepting any, people putting my link in the chat or whatever, because I have a hard time with it. That's all. Stressed was the other word, John. And we're stressed all the time anyway. But this just makes it a little bit more stressing.
Listen, I need my eBay store built. If one of you want to work for me and build my eBay store, I'd be happy to pay you.
I know Marcia tried with you before, and she wasn't really a big fan of the type of work, but I don't know what this one. You'd have to get with us and let us know what the scope is.
Copy and paste.
I know how to do that.
It really is a copy and paste system.
What is the?
What am I missing with Pat D? Send me a link. I'll come on in a couple minutes. Oh, send Pat D's a link, Scott. He said he'll pop in so we can beat on him.
What if I don't want to talk to Pat D's?
Oh, well, then don't talk to him. You can step away from the camera.
I don't think he's coming on for you.
Oh,
that's fine. You can
saying.
step away and we'll have a conversation with him.
Kind of feels a little bit relieving to actually get it out there. You know, people, I've hinted at it over the past few months, but it. Come back, Scott.
Hey, we should leave. Kill the show.
Where did Scott go?
We threw him out for you. Hey, what'd you do? Put up Thanksgiving for me, bud?
That's right. We got to keep the spirit of the barn around. Where did he go?
We told him that if he didn't want to talk to you, he could step off the show for a few minutes.
Uh-oh. Is he mad at me?
Wait, what? Why do you have a Thanksgiving background?
Why not?
True.
Well, there's no conformity. I don't have to listen to what anybody says.
Did you see how skinny I am, Pat?
What's that?
Do you see how skinny I am?
Well, personally, I'm not checking out your body. When Lori comes in and then you're calling her fat and tell her to get out, that's not too nice.
Oh
no, he was looking at a picture.
No, she was showing me a picture.
Oh, okay. Well,
how she used to be, not how she is currently.
That'll be the challenge to get Grumpy to happy for at least a day.
Listen, she's done so much better than I have.
Yeah. Hey, in all seriousness, no, Steve. Me and Steve have talked privately. Sometimes when I get to know someone's phone number, I'll reach out if I want to talk to them instead of texting. What I can say in a half an hour would take 3 hours to text. And, back when COVID was, he was the only one, except Scott, and I'll follow up on that. But he said to me, and I made a lot of money selling hair dye. And there was another product that I made a lot of money because Steve was willing to give up some products that I could sell on Amazon. And honestly, a lot of people don't do that because the competitive nature in people in reselling, it becomes ugly. But Steve trusted me enough and said, I never undercut him. I never lowballed him. I never asked him, well, why are you doing this? Why? He gave me the information and I made thousands with it. Then I remember in April that year, I had done $55,000 and the Beard said, Pat, you passed me. Then came May 9th and it was slow. And I reached out to Scott and I said, Scott, man, I don't know what's going on, but it's really slowed up. He goes to me, I'm still selling hair clippers. I said, really? He goes, yeah, I get them from Costco. I said, we don't have a Costco. But it was enough that what he said is I went out looking for hair clippers and I did $9,000 in the next 10 days. So the point is sometimes by talking to each other, motivating each other, just giving that little tidbit, doing it in a sincere way to look out for one another, it meant a lot. Just recently, and Scott doesn't even know it, that they put out some information on there about Legos. Well, I got approved to sell Legos on Amazon 3 weeks ago, and it's made a huge difference this year already. I buy stuff by the pallet, and I get some good deals from Target and stuff like that. And a lot of times, honestly, for me, buying by the bulk that way is much easier than trying to do RA because you may go to 5 targets and strike out at 4 and only hit 1. So, me sending Steve's money instead of super chatting and giving Google 30% of it is just a way to, and we need to talk about this. A lot of families, my kids get mad at me because still at my age, my sons are 22 and 33. I'm in their business because I want them to be responsible. I want them to do 401k. I want them to, and we, as friends, we should be talking about this with not worrying about what others think. Because sometimes we're just uneducated on what we could do. You know what? Sometimes we put the hammer down and say to the bank, we're not going to pay you 25%. So Steve needs to make a 2-year plan. He'll get out of this, and I'm willing to help push him and motivate him to better for himself, not line the banker's pockets.
Right. The pushing and motivating is probably better than anything else. Helping that way.
But Pat, you probably don't know this, but Scott and I were part of what was there, about 5 people in that chat on Facebook?
Yeah, 5 or 6.
And it was people we really trusted each other. And nobody was in anybody's backyard. We would share what we were buying at the time.
All right, which one of you bought the Trump mints? I got to know.
Amy said she was going to buy them. Amy is now on my side, so she had to have a souvenir for Trump.
But we would share what we were looking for at the time. That stuff, I don't see that stuff happening anymore. I don't see the groups. Remember the Young Guns? They were 4 kids that were doing $100,000 a month each. Wow. And what they were doing is they were shopping RA at Walmart, and they had no idea how to do anything other than shop RA at Walmart and ship it in FBA.
Scott, did you catch Silverhair Stacker Todd's comments about my head? we need to sometimes we need to time him out sometimes because he gets a little rammy. Yeah. Only Chartier gets away with busting my chops. You know how many messages I used to get in the beginning? Oh, Pat, don't get upset. Chartier's being mean to you. I said, nah, I just give it right back to him. People sometimes didn't know, like, we're friends and we would just banter. I don't care. I just do what I want to do. I mean, I reached out to John one year on his birthday and I called him. And I said, you remember that, John?
Yeah. And I said, who the fuck is this?
Yeah. He said, what do you want? I said, it's your birthday. Happy birthday.
I'm not a big birthday person. And I did appreciate that. And I still appreciate it. Listen, we're friends. Do I give you shots? Yeah. Do I give you crap? Yeah. But I know you can take it and it's in good nature.
Yeah, but no comments on my head being a substitute pumpkin, Silverhair Stacker.
Oh, I could see that. If you move a little bit to your left,
yeah,
you'll fit right in that dead space between them pumpkins, and yeah, I could see that, Silverhair Stacker.
Treasure hustlers, I don't answer. Well, we know. Trust me.
Steve, I know Pat was struggling for a while. And I did try to give Pat some advice. I mean, listen, I'm the wrong person to ask what everybody's chasing. Unless somebody's calling me and saying, hey, this is what we're buying, I have no freaking clue.
I think part of Steve's problem is he doesn't waste his time, really. A lot of people get caught up wasting their time doing YouTube or worrying about YouTube. And that was a distraction sometimes for me. You don't see Steve really on YouTube, so I don't see that as a distraction. He just got to get himself motivated to, and it's hard because, I know myself locally, there's no one really to talk about this and it becomes lonely. So I always wish that there was a good core group of people that could work together and motivate each. I tell you, I watched a video July 4th. I still remember I list every day on eBay. No excuses. Even if I create the drafts and I'm away one Sunday, I just make them active that day. And it's tremendously has changed how much I do on eBay.
Yeah,
I have done recently. I list every day now.
On who, Marcia?
You, John.
Oh,
She can take the motivation, I
mundane.
guess, better than I can.
But
She knows. Well, you give her a nugget, she runs with it a little bit better than I can. A lot better than I can.
don't miss what Pat D's just said. And I think we take it for granted. I take it for granted because I had dinner with him last night. Having somebody local to talk about this stuff. I talk to Harlan nearly every day. It's refreshing to talk to people that just get it. I talked to Tracy a couple, 3 times a week. And he was there last night. Great conversation. We had another friend who moved back to town.
Super sticker.
Who joined us last night. The motivation and camaraderie you get from in person. I mean, chat and stuff on the internet is fine, but don't substitute it for in person. In person,
right.
If you don't have you don't have a group, start making one. I mean, you can start. There's got to be people in your area. I mean,
it doesn't have to be big. It could be 5 people. But every day you check yourself. Maybe all of a sudden a load of stuff is dumped over at the Goodwill South, and hey Steve, you come. Let's go have lunch and let's run over to the Goodwill South. All right, let's go, and you just push each other. And
okay, so I tell a story. I don't know how much I've told on here, but I've talked about it this week. Harlan's got a friend who does reselling, but wanted to get rid of some stuff. So Harlan and I went and bought some things from her. She had some Starbucks mugs. So I was telling the story. I've got a few left over there. I was at a neighborhood yard sale, and Buddy Steve comes up and says, "Make sure you go to that one over there. They've got your kind of stuff because I know you like to sell Starbucks mugs." That's not something he likes to sell. I don't know why, but he doesn't. There were 22 Starbucks mugs. Lady wanted $2 each. She took $40 for them. So I mean, I got $4 less, not a big deal. The cheapest one of those has sold for $40. I've sold 16 out of 22 already. Because I mean, I probably would have made it that one anyway, but it was in the garage. She only had a few things. She had nothing into these mugs because they were in her attic when she bought the house. They weren't even hers. So she's like $2. And they were the old ones. Let me see if I can get over here and get one.
Does anybody got a Steve Alcorn baseball card?
I
don't have any more of those, by the way.
They were this
where
style,
I put them in these packages.
But the nice thing about them is they never took the tags off of them. So I'm selling them as like new on Amazon because they were never used. They were just.
That's so special. You got 2 sets, although we never got the other set.
It took me a year to get them.
Listen,
no, I sent you a set, and then you never got them for some reason. I must have sent them to the wrong place. I don't know.
Listen, the hardest thing.
Somebody out there's got them.
And I deal with this with my neighbors and a lot of local people, and I live among a very aging population. A lot of my friends have cancer or because they're getting up in years. One is losing his memory and things like that. They don't ask for help. And I tell them all the time, listen, by you not asking for help, it teaches me that I can't ask for help when I need help. You have to ask for help. Steve, you're asking for help, whether it be emotional support, guidance, financial, whatever you feel comfortable asking for, teaches people that it's okay to say, hey, I'm struggling. Can you help me with this? There you go. I got your PayPal now. I'm not going to say anything. Pat and Roman have both given me some money, and I appreciate that. I'm not here for that, though. I didn't hit your PayPal yet, bud.
Hey, Scott, did you see the the 49 from the Treasure Hustler?
I will do my best.
No, I did not. It had to be Sarah because Jackie's not that nice.
Understand, we know you're not asking for it, Steve. We are here to show you what a community looks like.
Right. I just want to be clear that this was not my intention today.
Forget about trying to be clear. Everybody knows how you feel. What we're doing is showing you that as a community, we can come together and support somebody. We tried to do this for Dusty's family, and we got shot down for it. And I'm thankful for Pat Dees through all that. Pat, you don't know how much I appreciated all that.
I caught a lot of negativity, a lot of
because Dusty and I never seen eye to eye, but Dusty did more for me in building my eBay business than anybody will fully understand, because he had such a depth of knowledge that I was able to draw from before he was gone. You have to understand, when you die, anything you experienced, learned, or figured out goes with you unless you share it with somebody else. This is our community coming together to stand behind you, Steve, to say, we're behind you 100% in your rebuilding of this. And maybe this is the first case. Maybe after we finish with you, Steve, we find another person and we're able to come to as a community and actually help. There are a lot of people out there that are going to be struggling over the next 6 months. This is not going to be the only person or part of our community that does this. And what makes this channel great is that we actually all come together when somebody's struggling.
I do appreciate it. I'm not trying to say I don't.
I know we know you do.
I'm very proud individual.
Anything except for have gratitude for what we're doing and help us.
I can tell you, it's gonna help.
Help yourself.
It's gonna help.
You come and see me?
And I think Marcia understands that.
She knows. She does.
But you have to know that. And one of the things we did, now this is going back years. One of the things we did was we opened up a hangout like this. Now, back then it was Hangout through Google, and we would just work all day. Take our damn money. I love you, Treasure Hustlers. They're so funny.
They're good people.
They are good people. Listen, and look at their struggles. They have struggles. I don't know how they're doing now, but it was clear that they struggled.
They're the queens of Whatnot now. They're doing pretty good on Whatnot.
I saw that.
What is a Whatnot?
Yeah, it's an auction platform.
Auction platform. Like an instant, basically 30 seconds, a minute. You show the stuff and people buy it. And there's some people that are having great success over there.
Oh, Mr. Stady, I know Dusty respected me. Him and I have many a conversations nobody knows about. We spent time in Google Hangouts, on the phone. He didn't always agree with how I was running my business, but he did respect what I was doing. He respected the work that I put in. I miss him. I think about him every time I see a sale from a promoted listing. I think about Dusty because he's the one that taught me to update my sponsored listings once a day. And it made a difference.
He liked you. He told me. He just.
I know he did. I don't think he had hatred for me.
No, he said he would sometimes do that stuff to be blunt, to kind of just bust you a little bit and kind of push you into doing something. But it was never, I thought, done with malice.
No, I don't think it was ever done with malice.
Whoever double hutch is, I would certainly sign that for you. Where do you want it? On the outside or the inside?
What is
on
it?
On the bill. It's a hat.
Oh.
All right, I have to eat breakfast and use the bathroom.
See ya.
I should end the show by showing y'all. I'm like the little bitty puppy with the long ass tongue.
Pat, don't go nowhere.
I'm like, where's Franklin? I picked the covers up, and I want y'all to enjoy the view that I saw last night. Whenever I lifted the covers up, this is all you saw. He's sleeping on his back, just like that.
I'm in heaven.
Before we go, thanks Pat, thanks Denise, David, Tamara, Robert, Amy, Amanda, Romaine, and Karen.
Right.
Well, get your shipping
Romaine.
done now,
It's a
dude.
different Romaine. Well, thanks a lot. I do appreciate it. I want you all to know I really do.
Hello and good night. That's my ending.
Yeah, this is the best dog, by the way. This one is.
Holy.
Say, I'm a little sweetheart.
You guys are way too good.
But I'm crazy as hell. This one has
Romaine. It's Romaine.
Yeah, Romaine. Also want to thank Ron, Karen, I already Pat and Roman, of course, Todd.
He's whatever I call him, damn it.
David again.
If he wants to tell me any different, he'll click on the link and come tell me live. If not, he's Roman until he clicks the link.
Well,
isn't that right?
Well, before we go, I just want to say
it says Romaine on my thing. So
what we did here today is a great thing. But we can't let it end here. We need to continue to lift each other up.
Yeah, Steve,
I'll
give you my
whether you're point blank or not, which I am.
I'm telling you, you're missing if you don't document it and put it on your channel, you're missing out. And I'm not saying you're missing out for you, because I know that you're going to build this back through, because I have a lot of confidence in you. But it's why you do a lot of YouTube the same reason I have. You enjoy the helping people part, and your journey of, because look at how many sellers come into this game and have the desire, but they don't have any knowledge, and the first sign of struggle they leave.
How many people would love to hear my story from beginning to end in a book? How many times have I been told to write a book?
Hell, I told you to write a book. Shit.
And here's your chance to document it from the beginning.
Oh, it's not quite the beginning, but yeah.
From your call it from my lowest point,
which is right now.
And go on YouTube and say, from my lowest point, this is what happened this morning. I got bombed on the morning show that I normally do with the kindness that I never imagined that I would, that's hard for me to ask for or accept.
Hey,
I don't ask for help.
We're going to Arby's. I got coupons.
All right. I'm in.
I can't. Sorry, I'm out.
Arthur, yeah, get with me on Facebook or something, and we'll talk about it. Depends on what you need. I'm not the best with the laser. That's probably why it's a big failure for me, but I work.
You want to sell it?
No.
No, he's going to make
because I still have ideas with it. I want to make my money back with it. Exactly. I'm determined.
No, he's not selling it. He's going to turn it into
I'm about maybe halfway there.
Yeah.
It just wasn't successful.
You have a lot of worries, dog.
You want a partner?
I need to learn how to design things. And even I have somebody that helps me with the jewelry side of things. Although we haven't sold much of that either. But, I just need to know. I'm not a very good designer. And I should have known that when I bought the damn thing.
I think if you're honest and put yourself out there on YouTube, you're going to be the biggest. In 2 years, we're going to look back on the morning show and, we're going to have to roll out the red carpet, and we got to meet all the contract things for your appearance.
None of that. I don't know. That's not going to happen. I'm not saying I wouldn't be successful with it. I'm going to say that I would be the same person.
But I think if you put your story out there, you're going to find out there's so many people behind you that you can't fail. And
you're going to find there's so many people just like it. I'm telling you.
It may be the perfect thing for you on YouTube.
I'm telling you, Steve, your teaching videos, I don't know why you have not.
It's all up here.
Your teaching video, and I'm telling you, you're patient and detailed and very, very smoothing voice, teaching somebody how to fix things and work on things.
Well, that's where I'd rather go with my YouTube channel, but maybe I don't know. I don't know what I'm doing.
John is right.
This is a little overwhelming today, so.
I want that freaking highlighted. Midlife Picker said John is right. I think that's the first time I've seen that ever in chat.
If one of you guys is the goofball who's offering me $5 on a $50 item.
See, John, I'll tell you a secret. So most of the time I have your name blocked in the as one of the triggers for the chat, because just don't. I don't appreciate anybody talking negative, and I don't let it get out. So, or if it gets by me, I delete them pretty quick, just because.
I don't mind, dude.
Oh,
Listen,
no,
you know me.
It's.
I got my haters. I know that.
Hey, Beard, can you add the word Pumpkinhead to that list of words now?
No.
No.
Well, come on here. What do I got to pay?
Can you add Steve's PayPal to that list?
But
Or Steve's eBay store?
Here's
Yeah, Joan, I still have my Etsy store.
Steve, if you want, and I'm not, I have a lot of free time on my hand. If you want, I'll help you do a YouTube show. I'll come on and ask you questions. I'll grill the shit out of you and find out
what I
where
would
you
need.
are.
I don't know. I might have to do that on my own, just to get
That's
out of my
fine,
own show.
but I think you need
and I'm
to
not turning you down. I need help coming up with ideas.
That might be the easiest. That might be the easiest way to start, Steve, is to do a live show, a 15-minute show once a week. This is my week. This is where I am, and this is and the things I'm doing. And that way, it doesn't put any editing into it. You just come on. You can take a few minutes and make some notes, make the story, and then just do it.
Mr. Sadie said John is right. Dusty just rolled over in his grave.
So Larry, Dusty did not roll over his grave. For those of you who don't know, they were both cremated, so there's no grave to be rolling over in.
I still miss him.
I think about him quite frequently.
Every time I go in and I see a promoted sales, I go, it's because of Dusty, because I didn't promote nothing.
Kimberly, thank you.
But I think as a community, if we read the rest of the comments, John, what comment? I missed a comment. Oh, well. I just like that I was right.
That's always
whoever Excellent Auto Parts is.
All right, what a better place to leave than with John being right for the first time.
There you go.
Everyone, thank you for coming on the show. Hope you the second half of the show. Hope you learned a lot and really get some self-reflection. But don't miss the first part of the show either. You've got to chase your dreams. You've got to. It doesn't failure. You don't fail until you quit. There are going to be mistakes. There's going to be tough times. Tough times make tough people better people. I'm telling you right now. So thanks for joining us, and we will see you tomorrow night. Steve might even join us tomorrow night.
I may.
I'm on Twitter. Even if I have to call him, he might join us. All right.
You like to go to bed early, Steve. You got to stay up past 9.
I actually do. My wife's the one that goes to bed early.
Who's serious?
Again, before we quit, and before I say the tagline, I want to thank all of you who did see it in your heart to motivate me monetarily. It does help, and it will help, and a lot of that will go to inventory, sourcing, and things like that, so that I don't have to use some other source of income. So it does help a lot, especially you, Pat. Thanks a lot, man.
No problem.
Now I'm going to get emotional, so I'm going to stop.
You're my friend.
Sweetwater out.
Okay.
Kill it.
That's a terrible.